Get full access to over 20,000 episodes with your free trial. MyOutdoorTV. Sign up today.
We have traveled down to the smallest of the 7 continents, Australia. Darwin is the only major city in the northern part of the country, and from here the hunters have chartered a plane and flown far south and east into the central Arnhem land, an area covering almost 100,000 square kilometers of bush without roads or villages. Central Arnhem land is the core of the water buffalo's distribution in Australia. In order to have access to the area, you need a permit from the government, and accordingly it is almost untouched and offers unique wilderness experiences. In many ways, these huge wastelands are like what many parts of Africa were 100 years ago. One of the few professional hunters who has hunting concessions here is Graham Williams, owner of Australian Buffalo Hunters. With more than 20 years of experience, is also one of the country's most capable buffalo hunters and a true expert on both buffalo and other game species which can be hunted in this fascinating continent. Patrick Rath of Germany is not only a guest of Graham, but also a sort of colleague. Patrick is a professional game manager in a large estate in Germany with one of the densest populations of wild boar and trophy-class red deer. Here, however, he has come down under to experience quite another sort of hunting and game management. The very experienced Danish hunter Torben Lungsø has come to Arnhem Land to hunt buffalo with Australian Buffalo Hunters professional guide Shane Rowe. The third and last client is a native Australian Chris Button, who for a long time has dreamt of hunting trophy-class buffalo in this wilderness. Chris has already hunted buffalo in Australia, but never taken any real good set of horns. In addition to the hunting clients, there are a number of accompanying observers, Inger, Frederick, and Karina, who have come along to have a good time experiencing North Australia's scenery and wildlife. Last but not least, we have the little live wire Sebastian, who is looking forward to become a hunter himself. In camp, Tinks Mitchell and Ladislav Vervak are responsible for food and accommodation, making sure that everything is all right and that the guests are having a good time. The hunts are all based on a tent camp very similar to what you had in the classical African safari of the 1930s. In spite of living in tents, you have a high level of comfort, and the food and service is comparable to what you'll get in some of the finest hotels. The tent camp is moved around in the concessions in order to ensure that the big bulls are not overhunted anywhere. Although Australian Buffalo Hunters concessions cover an area of no less than 3,600 square kilometers, the hunts are all conducted by tracking the animals by foot, just like in a classical African big game safari. The hunters leave camp at dawn in order to find a fresh track of an old and preferably lone bull, typically found along a river. When they have found a track, the hunters follow it, hoping that the bull will stop long enough for them to catch up. This often happens around noontime when the animals seek shelter from the heat.
From the creek here, I've been camping during the night and drinking very early in the morning. Been out feeding, so we need to get out probably 1 or 2 kilometres. And the wind will predict which way our hunt goes, I suppose, like yesterday.
Formerly, wild water buffalo lived all over tropical Asia and have been domesticated and used as draft animals many places in the world, including Australia. Due to the population explosion everywhere in Asia, the number of wild water buffalo has dwindled, and the species cannot be hunted here any longer. Today, the few remaining wild water buffalo are only found a few places on their former distribution, typically in game reserves. So if you want to hunt wild water buffalo today, northern Australia is the place to go. The population here is very large, as the buffalo here have no natural enemies in Australia. Diseases are the worst threat. In August, September, October, this area is such a density of buffalo migrating north as the rivers run dry that you can expect to see 50 to 150 animals every day, even though you only hunt by foot.
There's a bull coming out. There's the last one. Pretty average sized bull. There's the new bull at the back. Massive cow, look at that one. Massive cow, look at that one.
As the hunters easily walk up to 20 kilometers daily and the temperature often gets over 35 degrees Celsius, it's very important to bring lots of drinking water. Like most other wild oxen, the water buffalo are living in herds that vary a lot in size. Like the African Cape buffalo, there are often old buffaloes in the herds. But just as often, the oldest bull chooses to live a solitary life, or keeping to the outskirts of the herd. Furthermore, they prefer the fresh, clear water from the springs, and therefore it's often a good idea to hunt along the rivers until you find a fresh track of a bull and follow this up to the grazing area. Here, Patrick and Graham have tracked a solitary bull grazing amongst the termite mounds. While water buffalo have a good sense of hearing and a better sense of smell, the old bulls often don't see so well. Accordingly, the hunters only need to keep in good wind, be quiet, and avoid sudden moves. A full-grown bull measures 150 to 180 centimeters over the shoulder and weighs 700 to 900 kilograms. It can turn into a formidable opponent if it feels threatened. In order to give Patrick a little experience of the buffalo's behavior, Graham has chosen to stalk up to 25 yards from this bull, although it doesn't have trophy-sized horns. Just for practice, Patrick catches the bull in his aim-point sight as it takes off.
How old do you think is it? He's probably 8 or 9 years old. Yeah. A bit more growing to do, which is excellent. Well, we had the wind spinning around a lot, and we had to change our approach a couple of times to get in behind him, but it worked out well. Finally onto a spot that's got a few bulls, eh?
After this first close encounter with a buffalo, the hunters continue their search for an old, heavy-horned bull in this dry Australian wilderness. However, it does not take Graham long to find another solitary bull amongst the trees.
Point your rifle forward. Okay.
In order to have the smallest possible profile, the hunters stick together, and Graham sits down behind a termite mound in order to judge the size of the horns when the buffalo emerges from the trees. It is often amazing how well even such a big animal blends in with the surroundings as soon as it stands still, even when the distance is quite short. For the same reason, the hunters probably get so close that the bull caught a glimpse of them. Anyway, it's very obvious that the bull is suspicious and wants to take a closer look. It makes a so-called phlegm response, drawing back its upper lip in order to increase the stream of scent molecules into the nose. Graham has told Patrick to keep ready, but he has so much experience with the wild buffalo that he waits for the bull to get even closer. It is obvious that the bull knows something is fishy here, but he cannot quite figure out precisely what it is. The hunters keep absolutely still. And in order to confirm its suspicion, the bull moves up to a distance of only 10 meters.
Reload.
Forward.
Yep. Shoot him in the chest. Go forward about 10 metres. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Safety on. Very old bull, excellent shooting.
Big animal.
It's upside down. Well done, man, great shooting.
Thank you.
What a stalk, eh? Well, he came into us. We didn't really need to stalk this one. We just got in front of him and in he came. I think he saw a little bit of movement a long way back, which made him curious, so he came in, then the wind spun, he got a little sniff. Well, that was some mighty fast shooting there, well done. Excellent trophy. Now some of the work begins, retrieving our trophy and getting it back. Today's not as hot as yesterday, which is good. Beautiful, look at that. Look now.
For this hunt, Patrick has chosen to bring his Blazer off-road 375 Holland & Holland Magnum, a popular caliber down here, but definitely neither too big nor too powerful for the big bulls. For the same reason, he's chosen to use ammunition from Normer's African PH series, which has especially heavy bullets made by Woodley. The core and the jacket of these bullets are welded together in order to achieve an extra deep, large wound channel and penetration.
What we try to get in this area, we also get wide, very wide bulls, and we try to get, you judge them with getting 2 ear lengths, you know, out here.
And what do you think about the body size? How many kilos?
This one's probably about 850, maybe 900 kilos. Oh, that was another great walk this morning. Saw a lot of buffalo, but mainly big herds of cows and calves. Yeah. A couple of medium-sized herd bulls, and then came across this lone old bull, which is what we're after.
The water buffalo is not an indigenous species to Australia, but was introduced from Indonesia to Arnhem land in the first half of the 19th century. Here, the British Army used them as draft animals, and when it abandoned the military outposts in 1849, the animals were released. Descendants of these animals have since then spread to all the swamps and wetlands of northern Australia. Due to an outbreak of bovine tuberculosis, which threatened Australia's export of beef, the population of water buffalo was reduced by 250,000 animals in the 1980s. Today, however, it's estimated that the population of water buffalo in Australia is between 100 and 150,000 animals. Captured water buffalo calves are easily domesticated, but the animals quickly revert to a wild state if they're not kept under human control. The wild water buffaloes of northeastern India, Burma, and Thailand were among the largest of these species and had a reputation of aggressiveness while they still could be hunted. When wild Australian water buffaloes were captured for TB control, a similar aggressiveness was seen, as the animals had never seen humans before. Although they have found the bull now, the hunters still have the task to stalk closer, and that's not an easy task as the vegetation is dry and noisy when you move through it. The most important thing is to keep in good wind, and accordingly the hunters must make a detour. Although the buffalo has poor eyesight, they will easily detect movements, especially movements across the trees, which make a contrast to the background. As long as you walk directly towards the animal, it will have more difficulty with detecting movements. Shane has led Torben on quite a detour in order to be able to approach the bull unseen, and as there is less vegetation here, it's possible to stalk much closer to the bull from where they first saw it. This undulating terrain is cut by numerous, more or less dried out riverbeds, and it's one of those the bull is standing in. The hunters are now less than 50 meters from the buffalo, and Torben is ready.
Good shooting.
That's bull hunting.
Just wait.
Congratulations, Torben.
Thank you.
Shot.
Very good.
Did you put 3 shots in it?
Yeah, when he came up the top of the hill, I saw the first shot was good. Well, your second shot was good, I should say, when he came up this way, because he turned around.
Same spot all three.
Yeah.
The bull micro's pretty good, eh?
That's exciting.
As the experienced hunter he is, Torben takes the necessary time to be absolutely sure of a good placement of the all-important first shot. And he's even capable of putting 2 more perfectly placed bullets in the buffalo before it goes down.
Okay, just make sure that's got one in the chamber.
Yes.
I'll get you to put a shot in the back. Come this way.
Although it's easy to see in slow motion exactly where the bullets hit and that the one which puts it down hits the base of the neck, the hunters can be sure of this at that point in time. So Shane is being careful as ever. It's the buffaloes that you think are dead that jumps up and kills you.
See his tail? Put a shot down between his shoulders.
It's gone. That was a damn good stuff, eh? Congratulations.
He's a good bull too. When you went to shoot, I changed from this side to this side because I thought if he comes, he's going to come this way for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. So how do you feel today after this morning's walk and now this?
Very good now, because we have hunted a lot and walked a lot out here in North Australia, and it's a pleasure when all things work out.
Come together.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Big.
Big, eh?
Yeah. Good animal. Old animal.
Yeah, amazing. Big, solid animal.
Bushfires are common in Australia and a part of the biological cycle, as the ashes are rich in minerals and act as a fertilizer for the next generation of vegetation. A normal bushfire only removes the dead straws of grass, making it possible for the next generation to germinate and become a vital source of food to a number of species, including water buffaloes. If the grass for some reason is not burned for a number of years, the bushfires become so fierce that even the trees will burn, and leave the area bare of vegetation for many years. Here in the heart of Arnhem land, there is a very dense population of buffalo. The area is divided into zones, and the trophy fees for the buffaloes killed by the hunters are allotted to the local aboriginals who own the land. Australia is often called a dry continent, but Arnhem land is situated in the north, tropical part, with an annual rainfall of 1,700 millimeters, many times more than the rest of the country. The rainfall causes the area to be crisscrossed. After Torben has killed his first water buffalo, it's now Chris's turn. Accompanied by Shane, he will try to take an old bull with his Blazer S2 double rifle in 470 Nitro Express.
That's empty. It's loaded. It's decocked. Can't fire. I don't know. Let the cigarette smoke. I still smell it. But so that's why.
After having tracked this bull for more than 2 to 3 kilometers, they're finally getting close. Now they have to decide the strategy for the final part of the stalk. But contrary to their expectations, the bull does not stop to graze, but keeps moving away from the hunters, who can only keep following him. A good pair of binoculars is an absolute necessity for this kind of hunting, and it's always wise to check the surroundings as often as you can. Otherwise, you can easily spook an animal you've overlooked. Here, there is only one option: to follow the bull and wait for him to present a good chance of a shot.
You need to watch these cows here. But he's a good bull.
Worth going for.
Yeah, I saw him back there. He's got nice weight right to the edges. And he's an old bull, you know. Definitely, I'd say if you want him, that's the one to get. But
sort of try and shoot from about where that pinkish tree is. Yeah.
But just watch the cows there.
Yeah, righto.
Ready?
It is difficult to get close to the bull when he's moving all the time. Fortunately, he's heading into the wind, but the hunters must keep their distance so the bull will not hear them moving through the dry vegetation. Only if the bull stops and the terrain is more open will the hunters be able to begin the final and hopefully soundless stalk. The task and great challenge of buffalo hunting is to get within 40 to 50 meters distance, and preferably even closer. Here, Shane and Chris succeed in getting to within 25 to 30 meters of the bull, as it is joining the herds of cows and calves.
Straight in front of his shoulder, level with the brisket, with that white stripe.
I'm going to wait till it turns a bit.
You can draw, he might come straight at us. On the second white mark on his brisket. If you want to take him from him.
The bull is suspicious and has turned towards the hunters, but a frontal shot makes it more difficult to hit the vital parts, and accordingly, the risk of wounding is greater. Chris has to keep his calm and wait until the bull turns broadside. He must also be sure that he does not hit another member of the herd if the bullet goes all the way through the bull. Amongst hunters, there is a never-ending discussion of what kind of rifle is best for big game hunting. The truth is that it depends on the circumstances. With a double rifle, you can let off 2 shots much faster than with a bolt action, which is good if you're attacked from short range. But if you, like here, have to fire more than 2 shots, the bolt action is the best option.
That's it. Congratulations.
Thanks.
It was a nice stalk for a long way. And good when he came out here on this bit of open grass. I was looking from a fair way back and I was trying to say to Chris, you know, we need to find where he's going. And I wanted to loop around with the wind and come and wait for him because I was a bit worried how far he'd go. But it was nice that he pulled up right there.
Yeah. You're pretty lucky with the wind then, eh?
That's what I was saying. Remember I was saying we need to find out where he's going and
Yeah.
loop around with the wind and wait.
Do you think he was going to stop here?
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
these are the little areas you need to find. These are the little pockets on those maps. Good grass. You know, and I'll bed down here every day. He's running. You saw him. You hit him right smack bang in the shoulder.
Yeah. No, I thought it was a good hit.
Which was good. I was surprised he didn't drop straight at it, mate. Honestly.
Well, that's probably.
Maybe your first shot here, mate.
Yeah. Big holes.
Very big holes.
Like all bovines, the water buffalo is very tough. You can rarely put it down with less than 2 or 3 shots from even the largest calibers. Although the first 2 shots with 500 grain expanding bullets are good and solid hits, they are not sufficient to bring him down on the spot.
Absolutely perfect.
Although, when we came up here, my heart completely dropped when I saw all the cows out the back here. But it was nice when we stopped, you know, and just called him a little bit.
Yep, pulled him up and
Pulled him up
turned him
and
around.
even the cows, I see one cow come running up to have a look to see what was happening.
Yep.
And it was good you didn't fire when he was looking straight on at us, you know, just waited until he turned around and took him out in the shoulder, which was a good shot.
That's perfect. Thanks very
Well
much.
done. And a good bull too, eh?
The 2 happy hunters can return to camp with a heavy load of Chris's best buffalo trophy after a successful day where Chris's Blazer rifle really got into action. As something rather unusual for Australian hunting, there is a small river close to camp where you can get a refreshing bath and a nice chat about the events of the day, which both Torben and Shane take full advantage of when they come back early from their hunt. On the way back to camp, Torben and Graham find the nest of a bowerbird. The males of this species collect small shells and pebbles in order to impress the females. If she is not happy with the present, however, she simply dumps it in front of the nest. It's not always easy to be a male. During his break, the young French camp assistant Ladislas tries to catch one of the delicious breams that live in the river.
Okay, just load up because there could be some pigs in the swamp here.
Next morning, Graham departs with Chris, Patrick, and Ladislas. Graham tells them that there are often wild boars in this area, so everyone must keep their eyes open. A buffalo hunter must be able to walk far because the terrain is vast. Graham's 4 concessions are all adjoining and cover 360,000 hectares. That is one of the reasons why Graham sticks to tent camps, because although they are troublesome to make and move, they make it possible to hunt by foot everywhere in the concessions. Graham's aim is to keep a minimum of car transport so you can enjoy the scenery and hunting without being disturbed by either noise or diesel fumes. However, the hunter's thoughts are not allowed to meander for long. Graham has eyes like a hawk and has spotted something between the trees. He signals to the others to stay back while he checks out what it is.
Trees close to him. This one, which is about 45. Yep. The one that's about 10. Yep. But if we go around there, he's going to spot us. So.
Well, we can move up and just see what happens. And he's probably going to stand up and get closer enough.
Yeah. As the true specialist he is, Graham has far away spotted a buffalo that's lying down, motionless. Graham has seen that it's a good bull and will try to get himself and Chris into a good shooting position. However, it's not going to be easy to stalk close to it, as there are dry leaves everywhere on the ground. In the beginning, everything is fine, because fortunately the wind is good and quite strong and makes so much noise in the trees that it can partly drown the noises which the hunters inevitably make. The last and decisive part of the stalk, however, is going to be very difficult, because the bull is dozing. It will not necessarily turn its hearing off. Accordingly, the hunter's only option is to approach very carefully and be absolutely still as soon as the bull looks in their direction or hears a noise. In the end, Graham decides that they cannot get any closer without being detected and tells Chris to sneak up to the tree and get ready to shoot.
We hope you've enjoyed this free episode. To continue watching, start your free trial now.